All right. Welcome back to the show after a very long month absence. My name's Aaron, and apologies for being away for so long. But work has got the best of me in the last month or so. But I am back now, and I am joined for a very special E3 show, a little E3 wrap up with Mr. JC Argensinger.
Thanks. What's going on?
You know him, you love him. Nothing's going on, man. E3's going on. We've had a week of news, announcements, all that jazz. So we're here to talk about it. I say we jump right in. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, we were supposed to have these other co-hosts who were super excited about it, but
Yeah, but they both shot us down. We were gonna have the Mad Russian Ilya on, and we were gonna have the Hype Rhino Ian Stickroth on, and both of them declined to respond. So it's just gonna be me and JC tonight.
I don't know if they're MIA or KIA.
Yes. So sorry, internet. It's just us. But let's get into some of these games. But before we do that, of course.
I wanted to make a joke. They were as present as Rocksteady was at E3.
Oh, God. You know what? It's so funny. There's so much news going on that I forgot about Rocksteady, but that was one of my most anticipated would-be announcements before the show. So afterwards, when they reminded me that they didn't show a game, I was very disappointed.
Yeah, apparently the game wasn't ready.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's either a Superman or Justice League game, probably.
Yeah, that's what all the leaks seem to be pointing towards.
Which, obviously they did well with Batman, so it could be good, or at least better than, the Superman 64.
Yeah, I think just about anything is better than Superman 64.
Did you play it? Do you know?
I think I might have played that at my cousin's house. I think we definitely played some horrendous games that we rented, and I think that might have been one of them. But I've seen plenty of YouTube video.
I definitely rented it, and it was terrible.
Before we go on, JC, of course I cannot forget this. It's only been a month, and I'm already forgetting things. But what are you sipping on?
I'm drinking a Samuel Adams Boston Lager.
Oh, and I can see that on video. Well, I am back on the bourbon, the Bulla bourbon, so I'm doing that tonight, drinking it out of a Jack Daniel's glass.
Well, I can't see that because they're not on video, but I believe you.
Yeah, well, I'm describing it.
I believe that you're not drinking water.
It is brown liquid in a Jack Daniel's glass with an ice cube. All right, let's jump into this. So I have a list of games in alphabetical order. So I thought I'd just start from the top with some of the big ones.
You're just gonna read the list off alphabetically.
Yep, that's what this.
Here's what was at
E3. So the whole show is gonna be just me reading them in alphabetical order. No, I'm just I'm just gonna point out some games that kind of interested me, that jumped out at me, and just from the top, I mean, obviously, like Anthem was a big thing at the show. There was gameplay that was shown, and it was actually playable on the show floor, I believe. Correct?
Yeah, it was supposed to be playable. I don't think it was playable on the floor, but people were playing it.
Like press were playing it.
Yeah. I missed going. I had my pass, but I was unable to attend.
Yeah, that's too bad. Have you been to E3 before?
Yeah, I've been a couple times when I worked for Activision.
Oh, okay.
Doing
Mr. Insider.
Doing bullshit for them.
Yeah. What years did you go?
This was a number of years ago now. I was working on Transformers 2, the video game.
Oh, really?
One of the years, and then I forget what I was working on the other year. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Comic-Con, but with lines to play games, which, when you're working in the industry, you're kind of like, do I want to wait in line to play something that isn't a finished game? It's not really that exciting, but, as a fan going and checking stuff out and, being able to play something before anyone else has played it, that kind of thing is fun, I guess. But it's a lot of waiting in lines. So if you like that part of like Comic-Con and waiting in lines, then you'll probably like E3. But if you if you avoid that kind of stuff, then it's just a spectacle.
So you went to the conference when it was more like it is now, because they had a few years where it was just press and there was
Right.
no
Yeah.
like general public in there. But so the years you went was kind of the old
Yeah. I mean,
E3 that they
they were
brought back.
pretty big. Yeah, they were the pretty big years. But back in the day, and it was it's definitely a fun experience, and a interesting place to go to. But yeah, I mean, as far as like the novelty of waiting in line to play a game for 3 minutes or whatever, and then you know do it all over again wears out really quickly.
Yeah. No, I have no, honestly, I mean, as much as I love video games, I just have no desire to go to a show where I'm just waiting in line to play video games. I mean, I have such a huge backlog of games and games that I would, like, if I had the time, would be playing anyways, that I can do from the comfort of my own home. So, yeah, there's no interest. Like, I can wait for all these games. Although, I look at, I watch the video and see some of the gameplay being played, and there's a lot of games, especially from this show, that I was really excited about.
Oh yeah,
So,
no, for sure excited about a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I like I said, I didn't kill myself to get there because it's ultimately it's fun, but then you get to that point where you're just like, well, now I got to wait 6 months anyway to play it again.
yeah. So, did you watch any of the Anthem stuff?
Yeah, I watched obviously the trailer and then like some of the gameplay footage stuff. I think it looks really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Storyline, it looks really heavily derivative of Destiny.
Yeah.
Obviously slightly modified, but and then stylistically, I'm not sure how the gameplay is going to end up being, but it looks, obviously it's a third person game, so it's going to be significantly different than a game like Destiny. More, I
Well,
guess.
somewhat, yeah. I mean,
Well, I
even
mean,
though the perspective changes is different, the movement and I think a lot of the like late game stuff is going to be pretty similar.
right. I mean, it's more of, I guess, a mixture of Destiny and like something like Division, where you're in a third person world and
Yeah,
you have gadgets and stuff like that.
yeah,
I think it's quite interesting that as of now they're saying not only do they not have PvP in the game, they don't have it like planned for like in the future. So that's it's just going to be PvE. So that's an interesting thing to see how that'll affect the game's long term viability.
yeah. I wonder how they would do. Uh, I mean, I wonder how what the, because okay, I have steadfastly refused to buy into the hype on this game. I see EA and I hear just like the massive amount of hype coming at this game. I mean, it does look pretty, but I've just, I don't know. I guess Destiny really burned me to the point where I'm not going to buy into a game like this, and so I've kind of like stayed away from a lot of like the videos, and I've seen enough of it to know that it's a pretty looking game, but I just don't think that it's really, I don't like, I don't know yet if the game's going to be for me. Um, it's very PvE, like you're fighting giant monsters in the game, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, amongst other things.
Yeah. I mean, the whole like being able to fly around like Iron Man is pretty cool, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling too burned by Destiny to buy in right now. So,
Well, I mean,
um,
I think really all of these games that ultimately are trying to be like MMO light,
mhm.
um, they like a lot of MMOs, they're kind of dependent on how the publisher supports them post launch, and and obviously like at what state they're launched. And you look at a game like Destiny and Destiny 2, and I think the reason a lot of people are so sour on them is they did the same fucking thing, with launching a not finished game, and now they're basically turning the game back into Destiny 1, and you're like,
yeah. It's like, well, this should have.
I don't know if we even want to talk about Destiny.
Nah, we've talked about Destiny plenty of times
Yeah.
on the show. Yeah. Plus, we got a lot of new games to talk about.
Yeah, but all I can say is fuck their $100 add-on pack.
Oh, is that? Oh, in Destiny 2? Yeah, the annual pass thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like a $40 add-on and then a $30 annual pass or something like that, and it's like,
yeah. No, I'm
for a game that you guys just destroy. It's just. Then you look at a game like Division where they've actually continued to support it.
Yeah. No, Division's done a great job, and I actually, well, we can get to, let's talk about Division 2 a little bit. That was a game that I gotta say, I don't know. I thought Division 1 was okay. I played with you guys a while. Like, I never hit level 30 in the first game. I was kind of hoping that they would just keep supporting Division like they have been doing with For Honor and Rainbow Six. But, I guess for this type of game, it does kind of make sense to just create an entirely new game because you are going to an entirely new location.
Yeah, I mean, and they've been really good about their post-launch support. I mean, the game now is vastly different than when you played it, and obviously, disappointingly, I think, had it been like this at launch, it probably would have held a lot more of its user base.
Yeah.
But they added a whole expanded territory to the game as a free DLC.
Was that Underground?
No. They had their 3 season pass areas, which was Underground, Survival, and
Last Stand.
Yeah. But then they added a whole west side of Manhattan with an aircraft carrier.
Oh, really?
All these they had some modes there that were various access points on the map where you could go and play kind of like a horde mode kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
As well as just other new content throughout that whole zone.
That's cool.
And it was kind of like all of the different enemy types were in that zone together.
Mm-hmm.
Attacking as one unit or something. So, kind of had a different aspect to it, and it was super challenging zone. But again, it was cool because it was free,
mm-hmm.
and they're keep playing this game. Obviously, hoping you'll buy whatever.
Yeah. Now, I saw with Division 2, there's going to be no DLC that could segment the user base, right?
Well, there is going to be a season pass with 3.
Oh, so they're doing the same thing, kind of.
But it's free.
Oh, it is free. Okay. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's going to be no paid season pass.
Right. As of now, the first year of content will be free. I wonder if they're going to do a year of free content and then a paid add-on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think that is something that is more likely to get people to buy in than the season pass at this point.
Yeah.
Because so many of those season passes are just garbage.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, for a game like that where, it's not like you're in there with everyone else, you're kind of in there with your friends, but it does kind of segment you from the other player base if it is kind of integral to the gameplay.
Right.
In all the modes. So it's nice that everyone will have access, and maybe they'll just kind of do the kind of gentle microtransaction thing where it's just all about cosmetics and what you wear. Because it is a third-person game, so a lot of people will throw down some money to look differently. So maybe that's how they're intending to make the extra money.
And I think interestingly, I had this conversation with Ian, and we discussed about the first game what a missed opportunity it was that all of the gear was just made up gear. And I was listening to one of the gameplay videos, and they said, they're actually are going to have licensed, clothing and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh my god, thank God, because this game is so set in a real world, realistic kind of game.
Right.
Like, to not have put on Oakleys, as opposed to put on random generic sunglasses, was kind of ridiculous. But I think it could really add to the ability to customize your character.
Yeah.
And like you said, and then pay micros.
Yeah. Well, speaking of realistic, one thing from one of the dev videos I saw from E3 was one thing that's nice, I guess, in this game is they're making it more immediate with the kills, and they're just I forget what word he used, but they're trying to make it so it just feels more, I don't know, I guess realistic. Like if you shoot a guy in the head 700 times and he's he's way over leveled than you are. I mean, it makes sense in the context of an RPG. Yeah, he's way more powerful, but in the sense of immersion and you being in that world, like when you shoot a guy in the head 700 times, like he should just be dead. Right. And I think with this one, they're trying to make it so if a guy is like a lot stronger than you, he's going to be wearing like armor, and it just makes more sense visually that like you're not able to kill him if he does outlevel you.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It looked cool with like the armor actually falling off and stuff like that.
All right, and look who showed up right in the middle of our discussion of Division 2. The Hype Rhino himself, Ian Stickroth.
What's going on, man?
Not too much, dude. You just wake up from your nap?
Yeah, I had a rough day of jury duty. I had to put on the performance of my life to get out of there, so...
Oh, yeah? Are you out of it now?
I'm out of it now, yeah. In the end, like, I had to wait all day to get called up to the box, but I was the first one the judge released. First round all rejection team.
Nice. Love your work. All right. Well, we had talked Anthem a little bit, and we got to Division 2.
Before we go back into Division, what are your thoughts on Anthem, Hype Rhino?
You know what, man?
We've already squashed the hype, by the way.
So, what are my thoughts on what I'm sipping on? Is what I want to talk about first.
All right. What are you sipping on?
I don't know if you guys have already done that part.
We did.
All right, I'm just drinking some coffee with some white mocha, or white chocolate mocha creamer.
White chocolate mocha, no coconut milk this week.
No cocoa nut this time.
Okay.
You like that white chocolate mocha, huh?
Yeah. And I got a little Coke Zero here too, just in case I want something cold.
All right. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Anthem from the gameplay, the stuff we haven't seen?
What is Anthem?
Yeah, what is it? It's a third-person shared world shooter PvE thingy. Like I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, because like obviously I've heard of Anthem, but I still don't know after all this time and 2 years of E3 what it. I'm assuming that they're trying to just sort of be Destiny, but third person, and it's a good time for that. It's a good time to release that product.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess yeah. If you want to be better than Destiny, yeah.
Yeah.
No, let me ask you this one aspect. It is BioWare. Do you get the sense that like they're going all in on the story with this game?
I secretly hope that it's actually the next Mass Effect game.
Oh yeah.
That it's not really a different IP.
That'd be pretty great.
I mean, there's definitely, from some of the trailers I've seen, there's definitely some solid story elements in there. Like the original trailer from 2 years ago had, characters talking to you, PvE characters talking to you and stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there is going to be a strong focus on story.
But no romance.
Well,
that was confirmed. No romance in this game.
Yeah, that's a big letdown, because I mean, let's be honest, for a lot of us, that's that's about all we get in the romance department. BioWare's really just that's our jam. That's our jam.
Hey, man.
Wow.
Hey man, what happens in the fire team stays in the fire team.
All right. Well, moving on to Division
So,
2. Let's wrap up our. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Ian.
I said that the upside to that though is I don't immediately go in and hit on the first lesbian in the game.
Oh, there you
Like
go.
that every single time. First person I hit on, they're like, "Yeah, I'm not really into guys
Yes.
like people like you."
Yeah.
So just like real life.
Yeah, kind of.
Always going after the unattainable.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, we were talking about Division 2 and some of the improvements that I saw. Like, just it seems like they're going for a more realistic, I don't know. One of the things I was telling JC that really bothered me about the first game, and you know this, like when you shoot a guy in the head 700 times and they don't go down. But the developer actually addressed that, and he said that it's going to be easier to. It's going to look like the immersion in the game is going to be like where you shoot a guy. It's just not. It's not so RPG and so like stat, like arbitrary with the statistics. So I think it's like it for someone like me. Like it's gonna feel. I'm gonna feel more immersed in the world when when I shoot a guy. He's actually gonna die.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know how else you differentiate the difficulty in enemies in that game.
Well,
other than
here's
making
here's
harder
what
to kill.
one thing they're doing. Did you see any of the video with it? Because like they're putting guys who are stronger just in like heavier armor, and so it makes sense like in the world that like they're not going down because they're wearing like better armor.
Yeah, that was, I guess, that one of the big complaints was, especially from like Total Biscuit, R.I.P.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Um,
Yeah, that was crazy. He died since the last time I recorded.
yeah, that's pretty sad. I was not able to find that out. Anyway,
Yeah.
like the fact that the people that you're shooting are just wearing a baseball cap.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was my problem. Like, you shoot a guy in the head 700 times and he doesn't die.
Yeah, which is like it is an issue in a world that's like just so real feeling and like it was somewhat alive. That city, like the setting was great,
Yeah.
but like yeah, I can see that taking you out of it. You know, if that's what you're, you know, if that's going to ruin your enjoyment of the game, that you can't get immersed in it, and that was like the big appeal, then yeah, I could see how that would have been a problem.
I mean, it was definitely a complaint I heard from a lot of people was just the bullet spongy enemies, and it sounds like they've just made it so that not only the enemies but also you die quicker, and then yeah, they have like you see armor fall off of like the heavy guys and stuff like that. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's a good change.
The way they handled it.
Yeah.
I was also telling Aaron they said they're going to actually have licensed clothing, which was something you and I talked about in the past. How
That was just seemed like a massive missed opportunity to get like just clothing that didn't look so generic. Because that was another thing that like I'm like, okay, these are like elite agents. Like, why do I feel like I went to a thrift store?
Yeah.
You know, why do I feel like I shopped at Goodwill or just picked this up off a bump?
But yeah, I have to say the new game looks even prettier than the first game, and you know, I think it's interesting having a more diverse locale as opposed to New York, which was mainly just building after building.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the new location?
Because I've never been to these cities, I'm just glad that I get to virtually explore them, even if it is in the like apocalypse.
All right. Well, anyways, moving past the technical difficulties, the magic of editing. So we were talking about the environment of Division 2, and it is like 5 years after the initial outbreak that happened in Division 1, right?
I'm not sure about what the timing is.
Something like that. So it's like years after Division 1. So like the outbreak has happened. DC is like overgrown. So it's not like the prototypical Washington D.C. We're seeing a very like more lush, overgrown.
It's supposed to be 6 months after an outbreak in D.C. I don't know about.
Oh, it's 6 months. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about. I don't know where it goes in like as far as the events of the first game.
Okay, but it's the time period wise like it's after the first game. Obviously, like at least months passed, and the DC is like overgrown and just it's a different looking city.
Yeah, I mean it's a different looking city in general. So I think that obviously we've only seen a small fraction of it, but it already looks a lot more
varied
and diverse.
Yeah.
And there's deer you can shoot now instead of just dogs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm sure that Manhattan is, or New York's a lot more diverse, but it being that it was just on the island of Manhattan.
Right.
Ian.
And just like lower Manhattan, who didn't even get into Central Park, really.
Yeah.
We almost got there.
All right. Well, let's move on here. Ian, did you ever play Crackdown 1 or 2 on Xbox?
No, I have not played Crackdown 1 or 2.
Okay, never mind. I was going to ask you, well, did they show Crackdown 3? Do either of you guys know?
They talked about it, but I think that they talked about it being delayed again.
Jeez, is that game ever going to come out?
I don't know, but
crazy.
it's on
2019 apparently, and there was a trailer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they've been saying that for a while though.
But yeah, I think that it's gone on long enough to where it's had the same time to make this game as games like God of War, Last of Us, Horizon, games like that. And I don't think that it's on par with those games in any way.
Oh no! Have you seen the
content?
Yeah, have you seen the video of it too? Like no offense to the game, like I know it's like doing something very different and it's kind of trying to capture this widespread destruction feel, but I'm looking at the game and I'm just like, wow, we're like everyone's waiting for this game. Like it just does not look that impressive.
It's got a unique look to it. I've seen a little bit of footage.
Yes.
It's it's going to be for some people, and some people are going to hate it, I think.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird because that's one of like Xbox's like big exclusives, and I'm just like, wow, if that's like one of your big things, I mean, God, PlayStation really is trouncing you.
PlayStation has absolutely been trouncing them. I mean, can you name an Xbox exclusive in the last since maybe 2010 that would even place in the top 5 on Sony?
I mean, honestly, Gears 4 kind of fizzled a little bit, and obviously Halo 5 had a lot of issues with the community just not liking the story. So yeah, I don't know if I can say that.
What about Sea of Thieves, guys?
Oh man, I wanted to Sea of Thieves so much.
You were so hyped for that game.
I was. I got the Game Pass trial. I installed it.
I mean, you weren't so hyped that you actually bought the game.
No. I was so hyped for State of Decay 2, which I'm actually going to talk to Chris Williams about that, I think, next week. So I'll save that for then. But
yeah, I've been playing with him, actually. State
of Decay?
Yeah, we got the pass for Sea of Thieves, and I just never canceled it. So I had the pass, and a bunch of friends got State of Decay 2, and me, I would play watching paint dry too if enough of my friends were playing it. So so I jumped on and played it, and I have fun. It's a buggy game, and it's I don't know how much diversity there is in the gameplay, but I'm kind of enjoying the core gameplay loop of just sort of surviving.
Okay.
I don't know how much more there needs to be to it. It's still fun to just it's just a chill game to kind of mess around with your friends on. I don't know how much I'll play it alone, but
didn't they just release a 20 gigabyte patch for it?
Yeah, I don't know what it patched, but
well, I mean, there's plenty of stuff it could have patched. There was a ton of bugs in that game.
There was. I didn't run into too many game-breaking bugs myself, but there's a couple of things where I think one of my friends lost one character to permadeath. So somebody wrote it best on a YouTube comment, I think, where they said permadeath, bugs, and fun. You can only have 2.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving back to E3, I just noticed that, and I remember Phil Spencer announced that there's going to be a new Battletoads game, so that makes me excited. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I saw that too. I'm also pretty excited for Battlefield 5 or Battlefield V, whichever one you want to call it.
I call it Battlefield V.
And
why are they so bad at math?
You know, I mean, who the fuck knows? Yeah, I mean, it looks really pretty. The trailers are ridiculous, but it looks really pretty and it looks fun. Pretty much all I got to say about that. It's more Battlefield.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one case where I think the marketing makes it look like something I don't want.
In what way?
In that, like, it's just the trailers are just Michael Bay horse shit. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not into the like just impossible timing and like super action shots all the time. Like, it's just sort of silly to me. It's like it ruins my immersion in a game where I think that is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to make a sizzle reel of what can happen in the game.
Right, but everything that I've heard from people who have had some hands-on time with it say that there's a lot of good changes and that like the trailers are nothing like what it's actually like. So that's encouraging to hear, but it's weird that like the marketing is actively making me not want it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I mean, I agree. The trailers are pretty ridiculous. Moving on, because there's a ton of games.
Yeah, can I bring up one that I think is like one of the big elephants in the room? It was one of the biggest games that got shown.
I assume we're going to talk about Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that was what I was going to bring up. What do you guys think? Like, what's your reactions? Like, I basically just saw the trailer. I guess there was some gameplay that I'm not sure if it's out there or not, but I know a lot of journalists actually played it.
Yeah, no,
so
it was just in the booth.
Okay.
It's not out there that I know of.
What were your reactions though for the reveal?
Yeah, they didn't show gameplay, right? They didn't show much of anything.
I didn't see gameplay. I just saw the trailer.
Yeah. And this game, when is it coming out? Do we know? I feel like it's going to be like the mid 2060s before it comes out.
No, I think it's going to be 2019.
I think they're going to change the name to Cyberpunk today by the time they release it.
Well, journalists were definitely playing the game, so who knows? It could be 2020, but maybe. I mean, they've been working on it since when? Like
allegedly late December.
Late December 2020.
No, you're talking about this year, 2018. I don't think it'll come out this year.
Oh no, I think the earliest is going to be holiday 2019.
Okay.
But I could just be talking out of my ass.
Well, you guys,
in 2019, Amazon says December 2018, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's just a placeholder.
Yeah, if it says December, it's a placeholder. I don't think it'll come out this
2019 year. Is probably the early. I would say holiday 2019.
Anyway, I mean, back to the game. It sounds and looks pretty cool. First person, not third person, like Witcher.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, it reminds me of like Deus Ex. So, I mean,
I was initially kind of turned off that it wasn't going to be third person because obviously The Witcher, but I listened to a podcast with some journalists that played the game, and they were just talking about like how the gameplay worked and that you're basically like adding enhancements to your body. So an example of that is like you replace like one of your eyeballs and you get like binocular vision, and there's like an enhancement you add which adds like a radar up in the top corner. And in that light, it does kind of make sense that you are playing in first person because some of the enhancements kind of just like add to the sense of immersion of like being in that world, I guess, with like what they're doing with the enhancements and modifications and stuff.
When is that coming in real life? Like, I feel like as much time as they spent on Crackdown 3, they could have come up with some real life enhancements.
Obviously, 2077, it's right in the name, Ian.
Can we just get the Crackdown team to start working on that?
Yeah. I don't know about their quality. I want something in my body, but...
yeah, that shit's going to be here in 2077. Duh.
Okay, quick thoughts on Fallout 76, which got a lot of hype.
Yeah, it's a survival sim game. Like I don't know. After the disappointment of Fallout 4, I kind of don't care.
What disappointment of Fallout 4?
Well, here's the disappointment of Fallout 4. I know I haven't talked about this game on the podcast, but I was really hyped for Fallout 4 because I played the hell out of 3. I played every bit of content for 3. And 4 came, and it was just literally kind of more of the same, which is fine. But the problem with that is it had been like 7 years since between Fallout 3 and 4, and it just felt like the same exact game, the same engine that looked the same, and I was just like, guys, like you're still using this engine? Like we're in 2016?
Something like that.
I think when Fallout 4 came out, I was like, guys, we're in 2016. Like The Witcher is out. Like, come on. Like you've got to look and just play better than this. I mean, in 2011 or whatever, when 3 came out, that was Skyrim. But same thing, like that, they're using the same engine for those games. Yeah, that was the disappointment. That was all. I mean, I might go back and play more of it. I mean, I own the entire game. So maybe I'll go back, but yeah, I was disappointed. I mean, how much did you play, Ian?
Not a whole lot. I've never been a huge Fallout fan though either. I never played any of the previous games. I did play a little of that, and I got all the download content. And like, there's part of me that is excited to like go sit down and play it a lot because I did enjoy it, but but let me ask you this. So like, let's say like that's just okay. That's the engine that Bethesda's working with, and that's easy to work with for them, and they can in a reasonable amount of time get these games out with all the content that these games have. Would you trade some of that content for better looking graphics?
Oh, man, you know what I would trade? I would trade time. I would be fine with the Elder Scrolls 6 not coming out for another 5 years. If they had to go in and rebuild their engine and just do it from scratch and get comfortable with it, I would be fine if Elder Scrolls 6 did not come out for 5 years. Like, I would be willing to pay that price.
Sure, but it's a business, and I don't know that they're willing to do that.
Well, of course. And what, you going to say something, Ian?
If anybody's willing to do it, it would be them. I was going to say, like, I don't need Fallout, or I mean, I don't need Elder Scrolls 6 anytime soon. Anyway, I know
you don't. You got it. You have Elder Scrolls Online.
I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online, and you know, I think probably an underrated MMO.
Well, that's your main game right now, still, right?
It has been. I've been playing that. I've been playing Fortnite still.
Do you want to give a quick summation of the new expansion? Because I know you've been playing it.
I haven't really gotten into the new expansion yet, though. I'm still kind of like behind, but some of the things they changed was like they did make it so that like you're not at a disadvantage gear set wise with two-handed weapons, so you've got more options for builds now. That was kind of nice. So, which was a little bit of a limitation before. So they balanced that a little bit better, but I haven't actually gone into the new DLC area.
Okay. Well, let's stay in the Bethesda Studios realm. And did you guys see
I was just gonna say about Fallout. I enjoyed Fallout 4, but didn't play that much of it. And I think the idea of it being an online game makes me more interested in playing it.
Really? Like a survival sim like Rust? That gets you interested?
Well, I guess it's more, I felt like I was doing so much and like, I was like, but it's just so much alone time, you know?
Oh, and Fallout 4?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, like for a game where you're going to put in that many hours, the idea of having content that you can go online and play with your buddies sounds appealing to me. So who knows what it actually ends up being, but
yeah, any chance you can add co-op, I'm kind of down with it. But I'm in the same boat. Like Fallout 4, I enjoyed it, but didn't play much of it. And but I do have people that absolutely played the hell out of it and loved it. So
yeah.
Did you guys see the trailer for Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah, before we get to that, let's just stay with the Bethesda Studios thing because they announced a new game, obviously, Starfield. Did you guys see the announcement for that?
Yeah, I saw the announcement for that. It's like Star Fox, but without Star Fox, but with Star Fox on Nintendo.
No foxes.
No, there's a Fox. You can play as Fox on Nintendo. I heard.
Yeah. No, that's Starlink.
Oh, that's so. You're what? Starfield's a different game. So I guess I didn't see that.
So apparently, Bethesda Studios, which does Skyrim and Fallout, they have a new IP. Todd Howard had announced that they're working on like 3 new IPs or something, and one of them apparently is this sci-fi game called Starfield. And I forget if there was a video for it or they just kind of announced it. Did you see if there was a video, JC?
It's just a teaser.
Okay, so there's no like gameplay footage.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. I remember watching that and being like, it's like literally just like a logo and a planet kind of thing and like a spaceship. Yeah.
So I heard
cool, but like I have no idea what.
Well, what do you mean? Cool. What do you mean it looks cool?
I mean, it's a cool looking teaser.
Okay.
But I don't know like what the game is.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's just going to be Fallout in space, and like I said, if it's in the same engine, I don't know if I'm going to be interested.
Well, I mean, the trailer has like a realistic looking spacecraft, like a realistic looking one. So, but maybe like a near future kind of, or like 100 years from now kind of thing. So
yeah,
it could be interesting.
Okay.
I like new IP, and I'm still looking for that sci-fi game done right. As I think probably everybody is. Well, that's like futuristic, but I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it sci-fi.
Oh, are you kidding me? Cyberpunk is sci-fi through and through.
All right, fine. I'm talking.
Are you talking more like space?
I'm talking about like a space. Yeah, that like space game. When you say Starfield or whatever,
otherworldly. Yeah.
That like I'm still looking for that game that does that right.
Well,
that's enjoyable.
Don't talk to the EVE Online people about that.
The EVE Online people. Well, have you guys played Elite Dangerous at all?
No.
That's just like it seems it was fun, but it just seemed like a commitment I couldn't make.
That's how I felt about EVE Online. I played it a little bit, and I was like, "This is too much."
And have you guys gone back to No Man's Sky anytime recently at all?
I never played it.
I never played it either. I've heard it's gotten a lot better, though.
I have too. I dipped my toes in just for a few minutes, but I didn't really get into deciding whether I wanted to play it anymore or not. I'm still kind of gonna go back and give it another shot.
Well, you bought it when it came out, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently, like all this stuff they've added is just free stuff. So,
yeah, and I it's good to see like a lot of what they falsely advertised, to put it bluntly, was unforgivable. But at least they've stuck with the game and not just kind of abandoned it.
Well,
they just took the money and ran. They've apparently made a lot of good updates.
Well. Apparently what I heard is most of the stuff on the bullet list they've either implemented fully or like partially implemented where like it actually feels like a pretty fully featured game now.
Yeah, it feels like a complete game. And same problem that we always have is games come out and they're not done.
They're not done. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's kind of inexcusable that 2 years after it's released or whatever, that just now it's like a fully featured game. But I mean, if you look at it in the sense of like Steam has early access, Xbox has early access now.
Right, but they didn't say this is early access and we're going to beta for 2 years.
I get it.
That's the difference. And maybe I don't know what the situation was. Maybe they just needed money to keep going and they had to release the game, and releasing it early access was not going to give them the kind of money they need. It's still a shady move.
Oh yeah.
I think that's one of the things that's like just the whole industry right now is if you work on a game for 2-3 years and you've sunk, however many dollars into this game, and then you're like, we're going to need to delay a year. Where's that money coming from to run your company for another year?
Yeah, I think they had a lot of.
They'll release a game and then fix it over the course of a year, which, like you said, is not great. But sometimes I think it's the only way for them to stay afloat.
Yeah, and I think they had a lot of pressure from Sony to release the game.
And you would have liked to see them be a little bit more honest about that, certainly. But at the same time, had they done that, would not have seen the numbers sales wise that they got. So
yeah,
they took a risk, but at least they stuck with it. And at this point, I mean, I think that it beats any Xbox exclusive for the last 5 years.
Yeah. Well, speaking
low bar.
Speaking of PlayStation exclusives, JC brought it up, but this was probably my most anticipated game of the show. Like, I really wanted to see this game, and they did show, a decent amount of gameplay. So, Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch. Did you guys both see the gameplay trailer?
I did.
No. How do you spell it? Ghosts of TSU? Is that
TSUSHIMA?
Yeah.
Let me take a look at it because I'm a big Tenchu fan.
Well,
it's very pretty. It also apparently there's an English dub and people were kind of like freaking out, but apparently you can play the whole game in Japanese with subtitles.
Yeah, I heard that's a pretty cool way to experience it, but yeah, so it's a samurai game set in on an island of Japan when like the Mongols are invading, and you're basically this like lone samurai who is kind of like enacting revenge on the invaders. And I gotta say, like, it looks beautiful. I'm a little worried that the combat is just going to be a little bit button mashy. I don't know how in depth the combat is really, but it looked cool. Like, it definitely looked good. Like, it kind of reminded me of the Batman Arkham games in terms of combat and like traversal.
Like an Assassin's Creed almost kind of style. Is that what you're worried about? It's going to be?
No, I'm worried that like I want some really in-depth, complex combat. And I feel like from the trailer, it might be a little button mashy type combat, but I'm willing to. I mean, I'm definitely like in for this game. I just hope that they fulfill my expectations with the combat.
Yeah, I think those kind of games, it's always hard to get the combat right because if you go the way you want, you're going to turn off a lot of users. So it's it's hard to strike that right balance of like something that's fun and playable and still complex versus just something that's really complex and you're like, well, this isn't fun.
Well, why can't you just go the route of like, okay, so you've got like a stealth system like Assassin's Creed, but then you have an actual fighting system that's more like For Honor. Like For Honor is not like massively complicated, but it's like it's like complicated in like learn your style like a fighting game. Right. Why can't anybody get those two things?
Together in one game. That's kind of what I'm going for. Like, I want a system where, if you get like a perfect stealth kill, it feels great. But if you have to like engage in hand-to-hand, sword-to-sword combat, there is some complexity to it, but it feels good, and it's like, easy to learn, hard to master. Like, that's the system that I'm thinking of.
Right. So exactly, like if you could just have Assassin's Creed and For Honor to have a baby.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. That would be a lot more intriguing than the way that Assassin's Creed does it now, where it's like, it's a lot of hitting the same button over and over again, or just countering over and over again. Yeah.
Although, did you play Origins? Because they do mix that formula up. And
I did not. But are we? Do you have anything more to say on this, or should we?
Not really, because it was a short gameplay trailer. But
I'm looking at it; it's pretty.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for. Like, this is my game of the show that I'm like excited for. Like, I am 100% in for this game.
I might be too. I'm letting my guard down a little here watching it.
Oh yeah, Hype Rhino is shying away from the stomp.
So is this supposed to be open world? Is that?
Yes, I believe so.
I'm a little worried watching this that the world might not feel all that alive.
Well, I mean, all we've really seen is like empty fields and
so that's we'll have to see how they implement it. But
and you got to realize too, this apparently it all takes place on an island.
Yeah, it's about to go down. Well, really, it's like Japanese samurai game that takes place on an island? No way. Good thing I'm sitting down.
No, an island like off of Japan. like it takes place on like a small island off of Japan, and it's after like the Mongols like went through the island. So I don't know if you're gonna be seeing like a lot of like vibrant life from NPCs or anything. Like if anything, you're just gonna be kind of encountering enemies.
Yeah, and that's okay. So they supposedly are supposed to have wiped out the population essentially.
I think that's kind of what they're going for.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
All right, before you guys talk about Assassin's Creed, can I talk about two little games that I think
go for it?
For me? First one was Maneater, which is a game where you are the shark and you get to fuck people up, and it looks hilariously over the top. And if you see the videos and GIFs and stuff like that, it might be terrible, but it looks fun.
Why was this not called Jaws? They didn't have the money for the license?
I'm sure.
Okay.
And then the other game was, I sent you guys the video of it earlier today that I just discovered. It was My Friend Pedro, which is going to be a Switch and a PC game, I guess. And it's like a 2D side-scroller.
Shooter.
Which is, and the shooting is like, the best way I could describe it is like super over the top, like
acrobatic, crazy, twirling.
But then you can like throw a pan up in the air and shoot bullets off a pan, and like it kind of looks like a shooter version of Trials. A game that probably on paper you're like, that won't work, and then you just watch it and you're like, that looks really fun.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous in a good way.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch the trailer. Like I said, my phone was off most of the day, but
yeah, it's a game that I could definitely see myself buying on Switch if it's like $15.
What's it called again? Pedro, my friend Pedro.
My friend Pedro.
Was this? Did Judd Winnick make this game?
I don't know.
Damn, bringing the panels to the Pixels and Panels podcast.
Yeah, hopefully that's the only reference.
Nice job.
The other indie game that I played the first with Ian, Overcooked 2.
That's the game that I'm excited the most for. I got to be honest.
I've only heard about it, so I didn't watch the trailer or anything. But I'm definitely excited for that too.
I'm just excited that it's going to happen. So.
Yeah. I've heard
any more Overcooked that we get is a good thing.
I heard someone talking about how like the puzzles and environments in the second one are just insanely just over the top, even more so than the first one, like the later levels from the first one. So yeah. And there's also online in this one, so that's something to be excited for.
Yeah, that is nice actually, because the couch co-op is nice, but it would be nice to be able to play it more with other people, because it's not.
Yeah.
You at this point in my life, I don't get too many people to come over here, so I would be able to play it a lot more if we could just online it. That the downside being everybody has to have a copy of the game, but that's fine. Right. It's usually a cheap game.
That's fine.
Remember we played the DLC and like the puzzles, they got a little bit more complicated there.
Yeah.
When you had to make Christmas stew.
Oh, well, where me and my girlfriend are at, like it's already like getting pretty complicated. Where we're like going across ice platforms, and
yeah, the ice is
kind of crazy.
Yeah, the ice is a pain. But everything in the base game that came out was pretty straightforward recipe wise.
Mm-hmm.
But the DLC started to mess around with like, okay, you've got to make this stew, but not every stew is the same. We're gonna throw the orders up there, but you've got to maybe you've got to put 2 carrots and an onion in this one, and in this one you've got to put a carrot, a mushroom, and an onion. So like you mess up a lot more when you're working with other people and have to throw out stuff a lot more often.
Yeah,
so.
I heard this one is going to have stuff where like you start in like a pizza restaurant and then it crashes into a taco shop and you start making tacos.
Nice.
So I mean, I don't know how that works. But.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see possibly them explore, like, rather than just the like same straight up. This is a little silly, but my brother would love this a lot more, where you just have a bunch of orders where you have to make all kinds of different stuff instead of just making the same few things over and over again, like just as if you were in a real restaurant.
Yeah.
And different orders were coming in. Like you might have to make some pizza and doing some more of that. I know Alex would love it.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on and talk a few Ubisoft games. One of you guys just brought it up, but so neither of you guys played Assassin's Creed Origins, right?
No, yeah. So you were the one that brought up Origins, by the way.
I know I did, but I think JC was going to move on to Odyssey. And
can we just from now on just call it Assassin's Creed 300?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's just refer to it as AC 300. Period.
Apparently, there is a actual Spartan kick in the game, so we might as well call it
in the first 30 seconds of first 3 seconds of the trailer.
I actually didn't see the trailer. I just saw some gameplay, but not the trailer.
The trailer starts with the Spartan kick.
Okay. So what do you guys have to say on it? Because I just have a short thing to say.
Say what you got to say.
Okay. Well, here's my thing. I don't want Assassin's Creed to be an annual franchise. I love Assassin's Creed. I've played every game, including the Vita game. But I think they did a really smart thing by taking a year off and letting Origins come out when it did. And I feel like I would be more interested in Odyssey if it came out next year. And I know that there is a business reality, but here's the fact of the matter. I've got so many games going right now that I'm still working my way through Origins, and I feel like I'm still going to be working on Origins here and there when Odyssey comes out. So I'm not really excited to buy it when it comes out. It would be great if it just came out in another year, but apparently that's not going to happen because people like money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've played some of the Assassin's Creed games, and I've always enjoyed them, but I just have always felt like there's 500 Assassin's Creed games, so I'm just like...
And they come so fast and furious.
Right, so it's very...
it's hard to stay up to date on them.
Yeah, when a new one comes out, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that looks really cool, but I don't know that I need to play it, because there's gonna be another one 2 years from now.
Or you could just be like, oh, I didn't play the last one. Let me see how much of that is now. And you could just buy that for $20.
Exactly.
And just stay a year behind. I mean, I just feel like with this type of game, the annual release schedule is just a little fast. What do you think, Ian?
Yeah, I think it is too. I got sick of Assassin's Creed pretty quickly after the second one because what they did was they released the first game and then they waited a few years. It was several years before the second one came out, and the second one was the best, one of the best ones by far.
It's the most universally praised one for sure.
Yeah. The only other one I think that I would make a possible argument that it was the best one was Black Flag.
Oh yeah,
but
I was gonna say it's the best one till Black Flag.
But I was certainly much more engaged in the story and world in 2 because I had taken several years off. I was ready for another Assassin's Creed game, and then they started the annual releases with those spin-offs, and that's when I stopped. I think the first one, Brotherhood, but I never got Revelations, and I got 3 because it was new generation. I wanted to check it out. The American Revolution sounded great to me, but it sort of also left me kind of wanting more to that game somehow.
Yeah.
And then Black Flag, I will say was good, but then I kind of, Unity I stopped. I didn't really, I didn't need it every year. So I don't know what the numbers are or anything, but I guess a yearly release makes them more money. But you would think that if you generated some more buzz and needed people more hyped for an Assassin's Creed game, you'd just sell more copies at that full price every couple years.
Yeah.
Than spending the time to develop so many new games.
Well, here's what happened. Unity came out after Black Flag and dropped the ball because the game was not done. It had a ton of problems. It got a lot of bad press and I don't think sold that well. It was kind of when the PlayStation 4 was in the early stages. And then I guess Syndicate really the sales fell off. I don't know to what degree, but there was definitely a decline with Syndicate, which came out the next year. And Syndicate was a fine game. I played a bit of it, and it was fun. I want to get back to it.
Yeah, I played a bit of it too. Same thing. It didn't like grip me, but it was fun.
Yeah, but then the Black Flag developer who was working on Origins, I think they just Ubisoft made the smart decision, like, let's give these guys an extra year because we could use a year off from Assassin's Creed, and so they had an extra year, and look what happened. Like, Origins came out and it was like the best reviewed Assassin's Creed game since Black Flag. So, they did a smart thing, but I think what's happening is they kind of have the Call of Duty development cycle going where, like, they have several teams working on AC games. And I think Odyssey was probably, like, pretty far along. So, like, they could be fine releasing it this year. And I think they're just making the business decision, like, the game's basically ready, so let's just put it out this year instead of waiting an extra year, Like, maybe they'll see how it sells, and, like, they may or may not put one out the next year, but I think right now, like, I would guess another team had been working on that game for a while.
It looks like it. It doesn't. I mean, everything we just said. Assassin's Creed 300 looks super cool. It looks like an Assassin's Creed game that I might want to play, and I skipped Origins. I didn't have a lot of interest in it.
Wow, really? That's too bad, because that was a great game, man. You should travel to Egypt. It's a good game.
So, well, that's the thing, right? Like, they've got all these cool settings that they go to, and you hate to see them not done well. Like the American Revolution was kind of a letdown. I felt like
it kind of was. I mean, there was some good parts to that game, but I agree.
It was some things that were cool about it, but it left me sort of disappointed, I think.
I beat that game, but yeah, it was a bit of a letdown, especially compared to what came afterwards. All right. Well, so yeah, again, I will probably play Odyssey after I'm done with Origins, which may or may not be this year. So you guys throwing at me, what was the game that stood out to you from the show?
Like the game of the show, or like another,
or just a game that we haven't mentioned that.
Overkill's Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, how's that looking?
It's they announced obviously the final season of the Telltale series, and which I love that series, so I'm excited for that. But then Overkill's Walking Dead is like a first-person shooter slasher, with realistic looking graphics and a lot of gore.
Is it based off the show or the comic?
I think it might be its own story. I didn't actually get what the story was.
Oh, you didn't research for the podcast, JC?
I'm pretty sure it's its own story.
Okay,
but there's co-op, and you have like 4 different characters, so I'm pretty sure it's its own story within the world.
So at best, it's going to be an inferior Dying Light.
I mean,
or no, I don't.
Dying Light. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't looked into it enough to actually have an opinion.
It's definitely a lot more gory than Dying Light.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it looks cool.
Ian, have you checked anything out about Dying Light 2?
I have not. No,
I just that off at this show.
Yeah, I heard about that and this other like Walking Dead one, and I don't know. Just I'm never really. I can't even pretend to get hyped for zombie games at all at this point. Dying Light was good though, and
dude, you love Dying Light. Yeah,
I like Dying Light, but I'm not excited for more zombie games. Is all I'm saying. Like, sometimes I play them and I have fun. Like State of Decay is fine.
How about Days Gone? Either of you guys interested in that?
No,
not at all.
No. Not yet, but again, sometimes
it wasn't at the show. Was Red Dead.
Why? Yeah, why would they need to be at the show?
I mean,
everyone knows about it. It's the big dog in the zoo. Like it's everyone knows they're buying that game in November or whenever it comes out. It doesn't need to be shown off again.
Yeah, but normally they do anyway.
Why? So what do you think? Like, you think they should have showed off that game?
No, I just thought it was interesting that they didn't.
Rockstar will do that stuff though. They won't talk about the game at all until until they just come out and say, all right, it's coming out in a month.
Yeah, and everyone will buy it because it's Rockstar and they don't put out bad products, and it comes out they put out a game every like 5 years, and people just know I'm gonna buy that game. So any other games that just really stood out to you?
Yeah, we haven't talked about Forsaken yet.
Oh God, really, Ian? Are we going to talk about Destiny? No,
so
please
Destiny is just dead to you then, huh?
It pretty much is. I mean, I guess. What is this expansion? Is this going to get you back into the game?
I don't know. So the thing is, like, they're just so tone deaf at Bungie. Like, they a week before
they really are.
A week before E3, they did a live stream, hyping it up, and everything about the little Vidoc they had on there looked cool. They said, oh, these are some changes we're making, but then they did the rest of the stream, which was another half hour, and you had hoped that they might talk about how those change, like give more detail on what those changes are, what the game's going to be. But it ended up just being them saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to sell this expansion, but then for the next year, we're going to sell this annual pass. They just tried to sell us this annual pass that honestly they haven't earned.
Yeah. I mean,
so
they're selling us an annual pass that they gave us for free last year, or the last in the last cycle of Destiny. Like after the Taken King, we had a year of content for free, and now they're making us pay for it. That's what I'm getting from this.
Right, and again, like you haven't earned it, and a lot of the fixes are gonna for the game that you still haven't told us how they're gonna fix things. Are in this paid DLC already, which is, I think people could get past if the DLC's good. Okay, fine, we have to pay $40 for this DLC for the next year, but the annual pass I think has to probably rub people the wrong way, and at a point where it feels like it's almost life or death for their franchise. It seemed really weird. So then this like sort of more story stuff they talked about at E3. I think they just dropped a trailer where Cade 6 dies. Spoiler alert.
You're supposed to do spoiler alert before you say something.
Sorry. So they just dropped that trailer. It just feels sort of gimmicky.
I heard there's like a Gambit mode that's supposed to be fun.
That looks cool. Yeah. So there's things like I want to go back so bad, but I want it to be good again. I want it, but I just can't justify it.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Too many other games.
If they wanted to get me to come back, they'd have to give me a free to play.
Right. It's not even that I hate the game. It's just that like everything that they do just comes with them also saying, "Hey, we need all your money."
Yeah.
And it's extremely off-putting.
Yeah.
Especially at a point where they need to realize they're in rehab mode, that everybody's left the game, and that like they need to do what some of the Ubisoft like really bad launches have done, like Division and Rainbow Six,
yeah,
and even For Honor, where they've just stuck with the game and not charged a ton for it, and just for free put out updates that make the game really good.
Yeah.
Division 2 also did that.
Yeah, Ubisoft is good.
Division.
Yeah, Ubisoft is good with staying with their games. And here's what tell me what you guys think of this, because if I were making decisions at Bungie and I guess Activision, whatever, and I wanted to get players back to the game, wouldn't you just give away this expansion for free?
I mean, they obviously are looking at numbers that say that enough people are going to buy it or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that you could charge, but I think it would put a lot of goodwill in the bank for them if they maybe did it for $20 or certainly didn't try to sell that annual pass this early.
Right.
I know.
I was going to say, do like if you did a paid expansion and then free your season pass, or the free expansion and then tried to sell a season pass, but
Yeah.
Both just seems egregious.
Right, and how hard they tried to sell the additional annual pass, just it was just really off-putting.
Yeah.
So as much as I want to come back to the game, it's like they're like trying to make sure that I don't.
Yeah, because we've already paid $30 for, or 40 or whatever it was for the first two, which were really like flat to the audience, and now we're supposed to pay like $70 for basically like the next like year and a half of Destiny content.
Right, we're still at a point, almost like what are we, like 8 months, 9 months into the release, that there's no reason to come back and play it all the time. They haven't. It's like they want to charge like a top dollar subscription game, but they either can't or don't want to provide enough content to make it your hobby.
Yeah. No, I'm still done with it.
Or even the first game, it had some of those issues, but at least there was like reasons to come back and play it every week, or every day, or even.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I feel like it's a combination of like how Bungie's been just fucking over the audience, and also just personally, I kind of am, and I kind of are not in the same place where I was in Destiny 1, where like I was playing like almost nightly. So it's just that combination of like I don't really have the time to do it all the time, but I also really don't want to anyways. Like if it was cool enough for me to do it, like I'd probably find the time, but as of now I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll play other games. Like,
yeah, exactly. Part of me's kind of happy that I'm not playing it anymore, but yeah, it just feels so cynical now from them that like everything they've done has been so anti-consumer and just aggressively greedy.
Well, speaking of games I still want to play, continuously play, Ian, did you see the trailer for For Honor's new mode?
I was at work and I didn't pay much attention. I was watching the stream, but
you saw it's like a castle siege mode.
Yeah, I did see that.
It looks awesome. I cannot wait.
I think I was kind of more focused on the fact that it's going to China now, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're adding a bunch of new characters, new mode. I don't know if they're going to be charging for this or not, but that new mode looks awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't tell, but I like For Honor. I'd probably buy DLC for it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'd spend on DLC for it. Maybe
honestly,
$15-$20, but
the way they've been treating the game, I bet you they're just going to release the new mode for free, and then like the characters you'll have to either earn or pay for.
Yeah, something like the last sort of annual pass they had, where like Siege does, where they you buy the annual pass, you get all the new characters for free.
Yeah, I highly doubt the way that their Ubisoft's games have been operating, that they're gonna like put out a mode that is gonna segment the audience.
Yeah, I don't think they will, because the player populations on For Honor on console at least are not great. Still, they're not awful, but they're not.
I think it's over 1 million players that are still like constantly playing the game.
Okay, I'd have to check those numbers. 1 million. I mean, across the PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. You mean?
Yeah, probably.
Then that are still like active, but not like.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Certainly not concurrent. There's no way there's 1 million concurrent players.
Yeah,
I mean, every population list still says low population. So.
Yeah, there was. I was on it tonight with JC actually, and there was. I forget which mode, but there was it was domination. There was a high population, but I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what it means either.
I know the game. I know the game's doing well enough to have an expansion and still keep being supported. So it has to be doing like somewhat well.
Yeah, that's good to see. I like the game.
Yeah, it's a great game.
So. Speaking of off-putting DLCs, Sea of Thieves, is that a paid DLC that they advertised?
I have no idea. Is that like a season pass thing?
No, it's just like a new expansion. It says Cursed Sails and Forsaken Shores.
I feel like that's part of their season pass.
I don't know. So it is something they're charging for?
I believe so. Okay,
then I still have no interest in that game. They needed to put stuff out for free. I went back and like, because my little brother, he got the game and he was like pretty excited about it. So
really, Simon got the game?
No, Sam. yeah, Sam got the game and he was excited about playing it. So I said, I was like, I so dreading it. It's like, if Sam wants to play a game, I try to play it, but I always tell him no to Roblox because I just don't have time for Roblox. It's not. I like the idea of it, but it's just
Roadblocks.
Roblox. It's like sort of community created games, but it's all like Lego Man looking, and it's like not even on the level of Minecraft. I don't think. Like I said, I like the idea of it because there's a lot of different games in there that just the community creates, but I just don't have time for it. But he wanted to play Sea of Thieves, and I'm like, all right. I mean, some of it's fun. It's like, but there's not a whole lot going on. So he tried to sell me on it, like, oh no, there's all these other things you can do. But I went back, and it is literally just the same stuff that they launched with. There's nothing been added to it yet that I can tell.
And I mean, I still say this about the game, like if like you guys were like super into it, like if you guys and Chris were like super into like playing every night, I would definitely jump on and play with you, because when you do have like 4 of your friends on at the same time, like the loop of like just sailing to a place and having that chaos factor of a rival pirate ship attacking you is like fun. Like you're having fun when you're with your friends. But I just don't know if there's enough to like, oh, I'm going to play this game with 3 of my friends,
Right. We should just be playing a different game. I mean, there's just not enough to do. Like, it should just be called Water Effect the game, because the water effect's beautiful and the sailing is fun, but there's just nothing to do.
Yeah.
So they need to release DLC for free. They can't possibly charge for it. They already charge for the game, and there's not a game there. So make a game, and then we can start talking about it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
It sounds like, from what I'm seeing, those are supposed to be free.
The Sea of Thieves thing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. That's good. That's good to hear. Then I apologize to them, but
I mean, I can't find a true answer, but that's what it sounds like.
Well, it sounds like you're talking in a tin can, JC. You might want to step up to that mic.
Well, you might want to step up to that mic.
There we go. There's the JC I know and love. Well, staying on the Microsoft exclusives, just briefly, what do you guys think of Gears 5, is it? And Halo Infinite? What do you think of those announcements? I think we saw a trailer for
Halo.
Gears 5. Oh, there was a trailer for Halo?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that, but...
I mean, they looked cool. They looked like more of the same. I mean... Yeah, I don't know. I've never been big on the Halo party, but
that's right. You're a Gears guy, but you're not a Halo guy.
But
I like Halo more than Gears. I'm just not a Gears guy. I mean, the first game was fun.
It's funny because JC's more of a Gears guy and you're more of a Halo guy, and I like both. Like I'm down to play both. I've actually been meaning to. Me and Ian started was a Halo 1 on Master Chief Collection.
Yeah,
so
I still
need to finish that.
Yeah, I gotta download Master Chief Collection on my Xbox again.
Okay. Are you still rocking the? Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Nothing. I was just gonna say that I switched Xboxes and I didn't download that one yet.
So. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask. Are you still rocking the OG Xbox One, or did you switch to the S or X?
No. Well, I mean, I am, but I have the Elite. I have the Elite Xbox One.
Oh, okay. But that's the original model? Yeah,
more or less. I guess it's got like a solid state drive. It's supposed to load faster, but I don't really know.
Gotcha.
So Halo Infinite, I don't know. I'm not quite ready to start getting hyped about it, but there might be something there. I think that Halo 5
taught them some lessons.
I would hope so, but yeah, something about it. Like I don't think that it was ever supposed to be a main Halo title. I think it was supposed to be a spin-off.
Oh yeah, like what was it?
Reach?
Reach, and also what was the game I'm not thinking of after 3?
Was it ODST?
ODST. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, so I think it was supposed to probably be one of those games, but then they freaked out when like fans were just like, no, we need another Halo, like real Halo game. So they probably just tacked on some Master Chief in there and then slapped a 5 on it and called it Halo 5. And I think that since it came out, they've improved it. I think it started off as like a 40 gig game, and now it's over 100.
Jeez, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't know what all they've added to it because I really didn't play a lot of it. I haven't even played through the campaign. It looks pretty and like it feels good.
I've heard the multiplayer is pretty awesome.
I think it probably is. The game feels good to play, and I think that probably bodes well for the multiplayer, but I haven't really gotten into it.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased against the game because I got upset when the first cutscene, there's all this awesome stuff that the Spartans are doing, and then you take control of them, and it's way underwhelming compared to what you just watched them do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't like that, and I never really played through a lot of it. But if this is a legit Halo game that, that might be something exciting.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like we're at like 2 hours of this podcast, man.
Well, it's like an hour and a half or so. Let's just talk a couple more games before we log off here. JC, we have to talk a little Spider-Man. Did you see the gameplay trailer?
All right, I'm gonna go get some more coffee because I don't need to be involved with this one.
I was gonna say I don't really need to be involved in this one either.
Seriously?
I mean,
I thought you'd be so into Spider-Man. Are you kidding me?
I mean, it reminds I played the game in whatever Spider-Man 1 or 2 in '98.
Oh wow! So you're not a Spider-Man guy?
No. I mean, I enjoyed the game, but it's not a game that I get hyped about.
Really? Did you see any of the gameplay on this one?
I did. It looks cool. But
okay.
It doesn't look like it's
not a buy for you, huh?
I mean,
it's coming out in September.
Not for $60.
Wow. Okay. This is my most anticipated of the year. I'm just trying to remember I said Ghost of Tsushima is not coming out this year. So yeah, Spider-Man is definitely my most anticipated.
Well, it's fine.
It looks great. The movement looks awesome. It just looks really fun to swing around the city, and the combat looks really smooth. And yeah, what can you say? I mean, people that saw the gameplay, I think, know how good that game looks.
No, I mean, I think it looks great. I just think that I've found all of those things enjoyable when I played the first Spider-Man game like that, which was I feel like in '98. Obviously the graphics are better, but it's not I don't know. I just don't get that excited about it.
Well, you know what, JC? It's still fun to be Spider-Man.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. It's fun, but I don't it. There was nothing where I was like, "Ooh, that seems really interesting." In the way of like the Arkham games, when a new Arkham game would come out, oh, that seems really cool. Anyway. Yeah,
I guess. I guess for me, I mean, I agree about the Arkham games. Yes, I'm totally in whenever Rocksteady puts out a game. But for me, there has not been a good Spider-Man game that's come out that I've been on the edge of my seat for years. Really, since Ultimate Spider-Man, which came out in 2005. So this game for me has been a long time coming. Anyways, let's wrap up this thing. Is there one game that each of you has that we haven't talked about that you wanted to hit before we go?
Do I have to have one? Because I don't think there is.
Okay, fine. That's fine. JC?
I mean, the game that we haven't talked about, not necessarily that it's not that exciting for me because I don't own a Switch. But the new Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I wasn't gonna bring it up because Ian's on, but yeah, for me, that's a must. I'm definitely buying that. It has every character from every Smash. It's just a fun game to play with a bunch of people, whether you have them over or you're playing online. I mean, a Smash to me, it's a must buy on every Nintendo system. So yeah. Them announcing all the characters, and I mean, I'm definitely in for that. It's kind of a given.
Yeah.
No. Okay, I'll try not to shit on your Nintendo IP.
Thanks for not stomping too hard there, Hype Rhino.
Yeah, you know what though? I've been hearing actually a little buzz about Hitman 2.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that looked cool.
Now they broke off from Square Enix, and I believe they got a new publisher. They kept the Hitman IP, which is interesting when they broke off from Square Enix, because usually the publisher will keep the IP. But I forget, was it IO Entertainment or Interactive or something?
Yeah, I think it's IO. I don't know. I haven't played it. I honestly haven't played a Hitman game since 2000.
Well, the new one, which they released,
the original Hitman's the only one I ever played.
Oh yeah, okay. Is that Blood Money? I think.
I think it was just called Hitman. It was literally just called Hitman. It was the original game.
I think it was. Yeah, I forget. I know there was one called Blood Money, which was one of the early ones. But, anyways, the new one came out episodically, and from what I've heard, it's a really good game. And I actually downloaded the first episode because it was free at one point, and I just never played it. Even though I love stealth games, I just never played it. But yeah, I probably need to go back and play the first one. But I'm glad they're still doing Hitman games, because this market could use more stealth games, especially after the non-announcement of a new Splinter Cell.
You know, we definitely don't need, though, is more Hitman games. I mean, I did like the first game, and
do we really not need more Hitman games?
I liked the movie too. Actually, the movie based on Hitman, because first of all, Olga Kurylenko is hot. So is Timothy Oliphant, but you know,
Timothy Oliphant,
not Olga Kurylenko hot.
Yeah.
But like, I just feel like the ratio of Hitman games and movies and shows, like the ratio of Hitman and media to real life Hitman is way out of proportion. I mean, we've all seen like a million Hitman movies and shows and everything. And
to be fair, I think there's only been 2 movies.
Do any of you guys know? No, there's Hitmen in every movie.
Oh, Hitmen. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just Hitmen in general. Like I've never met one in real life. Like, would you guys even know how to get a hold of one if you had to kill somebody?
Yeah. Oh wait.
Should be saying that.
No. I don't.
We're online right now.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even know how to contact a hitman. So like, why is every other movie I see have a hitman in it? Why are there so many more in movies than there are in real life?
Because they're interesting. That's why.
It's like the ratio of Panda Expresses to actual pandas in the world. Like, why are there more Panda Expresses than pandas?
Oh God! All right, we're going down a rabbit hole.
There definitely are a lot of things like that, though. That you're like, there are so many of these movies, and then you're like, never happens in real life.
Yeah, it's way overrepresented. So that's just one of those things that
I've never bumped into a person and dropped a whole bunch of things.
Yeah. and I'm sure there's a billion other examples you could cite, but yes, that's why movies are movies and games are games, and real life is boring real life. Ian, were you like super upset like I was that there was no Splinter Cell announced?
No, because I was more a Ghost Recon guy at that time.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? This was the time for them to announce Splinter Cell.
But I never liked Splinter Cell. I never got into Splinter Cell.
You've not played a Splinter Cell that you've enjoyed?
I played a little bit of Splinter Cell, but I enjoyed it because the guy I was playing with was taking it way too seriously, and I wasn't.
Oh, really?
So it was fun in that way.
See, I was
thinking of Splinter Cell Chaos.
Chaos Theory.
Co-op Theater.
Co-op Theater.
Yeah. Did you guys ever watch that back in the day?
Oh, I remember you telling me about it, but no, I didn't watch it.
It was just like two guys, playing Splinter Cell co-op, and then just one guy just fucking shitting all over the whole.
Oh yeah, so that was me and my buddy Alan.
That's funny. I always thought you were a big stealth guy, Ian. I thought you'd be like all over the Splinter Cell.
I don't know.
Sometimes I don't do stealth in my real life. Like I'm not like
You don't sneak around.
Yeah, I'm not a sneaker.
You don't sneak around your apartment?
I don't sneak. I don't run. I learned jujitsu specifically so I don't have to ever run.
Well, that's interesting because a game that I thought might get announced because we didn't know what IP From Software was referring to when they teased a game called Shadows Strike Twice. I thought that might be Tenchu, which is a game I know you love, Ian, which is a stealth game.
I do.
So that's kind of why I was tying in the stealth.
Yeah. I did like stealth games more in the past. Back when I thought I was like fast and could potentially be stealthy.
Why do you have to be fast or stealthy in real life to enjoy a stealth game?
I don't know. I just over the years, like characters that I've created in games have sort of moved away from that model.
Okay.
As I've sort of become less stealthy.
So you're down to play a game like Destiny where you can jetpack in the air 1,000 feet. And do all these superhuman moves, but you won't play a game where you're a ninja?
Well, that's why I'm a Titan and not a hunter.
Okay. Although you have a hunter.
I have a hunter, but...
Yeah. Well, okay. The game I'm referring to, of course, is from the new IP, which is called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It is somewhat Tenchu-esque. It's like a cross between Tenchu, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls. And at least from what it looks like, and there's some gameplay out there that people are looking at and kind of using that comparison. I know you guys are not into the Dark Souls like I am, so
no. So I never put it together. But was Dark Souls and Tenchu the same?
Same developer. Yep.
Really? Oh, okay. I did not know that.
From Software did Tenchu, they did Armored Core, and they did recently Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
Wow, they were really killing it before Dark Souls.
They've been killing it for pretty much their whole career.
I really loved Armored Core and Tenchu. I have no interest in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll come back with Bloodborne. I'll give them that, but...
No, Bloodborne's great. I'm actually playing Dark Souls Remastered right now. I'm loving that, even though it plays, pretty differently from Bloodborne. But, well, it's kind of the same, but it's different in the nuances. But this game looks cool because it has a Tenchu feel because it's much more vertical. You're using a grappling hook. I think it still has kind of the Dark Souls combat with the hitboxes and just placement and there's something called posture, which they're really emphasizing, I guess, for the combat on this, where like if you parry or block, kind of time your block wrong or parry wrong, your posture kind of goes off, which leads you open to a increased attack by your enemy and stuff. So it looks from what I've seen, like the limited from what I've seen, I'm definitely interested because I am a Dark Souls guy, but if I'm not getting Tenchu, I guess this is the closest thing to that.
I think it'd be cool if they just let's say your posture or you parried wrong or didn't hit block at the right time and you just got dismembered, like you lost an arm.
Yeah, like a Bushido blade.
Yeah, Bushido blade though, you just gotta hold it at your side, like your shoulder was out of the socket. You didn't really lose the thing, but yeah, something like that. I think that'd be interesting.
I really wonder if
just fuck up and lose your arm. Sorry.
Do you think we'll ever see Bushido blade again?
I doubt it, but
yeah, we can dream.
That was SquareSoft, right? Back when it was SquareSoft.
Oh God, I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's a SquareSoft game.
Who developed Bushido blade? But I played Bushido Blade 1 and 2. Great games. All right. Cool. Well, we covered pretty good gamut of games. I mean, not anywhere near all the games, but a few. So, anything else you guys wanted to hit before we go?
Yeah, it feels like we got all the games.
Yeah.
All right, we got all the games. JC, we got all the games?
Every single one.
I mean, not every single one for sure, but more than enough. I'm excited for Division 2, and my friend is Pedro.
Yeah, you mentioned that. You mentioned that. Go get another beer. Oh yeah, Overcooked 2.
Overcooked 2.
Overcooked 2. We can all agree on that.
My biggest disappointment from E3 was no Half-Life 3. Going about a decade of that being my biggest disappointment. But.
Really? Yeah. You can stay on that train for the rest of your life. You keep riding that disappointment train.
Hey, I
My biggest disappointment was literally no gameplay from EA whatsoever, except for the absolute mobile desecration of Command and Conquer.
Oh my god. There's a Command and Conquer mobile game coming out?
Yes.
Oh.
They spent half their conference on it. It's the only thing they showed gameplay
Why
of.
did you have to tell me that? I don't want to know that.
I was never a Command and Conquer guy anyway, so.
Yeah, to be fair, I was much more of an Age of Empires guy. That's still EA, right?
Total Annihilation.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was EA's conference.
EA, but EA is doing like EA publishes Age of Empires still.
Oh, Age of Empires? No. EA was
or
never.
is that Microsoft?
It's Microsoft. Yeah,
That's Microsoft. Okay, thank God.
They were never the EA.
EA's SimCity and what's the other strategy game I'm thinking of? Maybe it's SimCity I'm thinking of.
Well, probably no. It's your Lord of the Rings, right? Battle for Middle Earth.
That was a while ago. Yeah, that was before EA got real shitty.
Yeah, but I don't think that EA's into RTS anymore.
Not anymore. No, they're into.
They just got out of that business. It's not really super lucrative, probably. But there's definitely a rabid fan base that exists for it. But
I mean, that is definitely like the forgotten genre.
But Command and Conquer is the first so Age of Empires, the original Age of Empires, is what really got me into. Like that's the first one I was like obsessed with.
Mm-hmm.
But Command and Conquer was the first one I played, and it was like my uncle had gotten it on his computer, and every time we were over there, we wanted to play it. So that was like the first RTS I played.
Yeah, I think actually there's two RTS strategy games that I'm looking forward to that have a 4 in it, and that's going to be Age of Empires 4, and whenever it comes out, which will be probably years still, is Warcraft 4. But those two will definitely come out at some point.
I still need to learn how to play Total War Warhammer.
I'd be excited for.
I know.
Company of Heroes 3 would be a good one. That's from the same developer as Total Warfare or Total Warhammer.
Wait, Relic?
Yeah.
No, they do Dawn of War.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, Total War is. Did you guys see the Total War game that came out? What is it? Thrones of Britannia, where you play as Alfred repelling the Viking hordes. Well, you play as a bunch of different people, whoever you want. But it's basically the Last Kingdom as a strategy game.
But like Alfred is Batman's butler. That doesn't make any sense.
JC, shush. Everyone, watch Last Kingdom on Netflix. It's amazing.
It's a good show.
Yeah, and read the books. All right, we're gonna cut this off. Thanks for being with us, people that are still with us.
If you're still with us 2 hours later.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. Apologies for Nomad Russian on this show. Actually, no, not apology. I'm not going to apologize for that. You're welcome. That we kept his ass off this show. There will be more pixels on, or more panels on next week's show. There's plenty of pixels on this week, but we'll have some panels as well on next week's. Going to bring the mighty Chris Williams on and talk some comics and some video games. So we'll balance it out next week. But we wanted to hit the E3 news and previews and all that good stuff. So thanks for being with us, and Ian and JC, thank you guys for being on.
Yeah.
So you guys want to play some For Honor now?
Let's do it. Let's test those dedicated servers.
We're still live though.
Later.